Hey y'all. Um, I want to talk today about holistic entrepreneurship. And what does that mean? What is this all about? It's something that I preach fully, not just preach it, but I absolutely practice it. And this is really what it is. Like, it's me sitting here about to do my nails. Um, it's me with candles in every single room. I have my candles going. I have incense in every single room. Even the kids' room all have candles and incense. Everything right now um, is just set into the environment that I love and that makes me feel really restored and just really comforted and just really good and just luxurious, like all the feelings that I love. I got my place is like beautiful sunlight. I have plants that are right in front of me, beautiful money tree, aloe plants, spider plants, other plants. Like, this is what holistic entrepreneurship is. It is an approach to entrepreneurship where we get to be a little softer. I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, particularly female entrepreneurs, we end up operating in our masculine. And a lot of times, entrepreneurship is kind of like that because we have to be driven and motivated and on the ball and just like go, go, go all the time, strategy, execution, all that stuff, which is really great. You know, we love our masculinity, we love our masculine males, and we love that approach to entrepreneurship and to life in some situations. Um, but there is real value in softness. And I'm very fortunate to be in the wellness industry where not only do I preach self-care and wellness to other people, but I get to practice it. Like, I've embodied it in my own life where I would say the last decade or more I've really been on this self-care journey and figuring out what does wellness mean to me personally, and figuring out, how to adapt and how to be fluid and how to be flexible with all the changes in business, but also life. And how do I kind of stay on this journey? And that is through softness. Like, if we are super rigid, if we're, approaching entrepreneurship with this like hustle, hustle, hustle mentality, that's when we burnt out. That's when we burn out. And I would say in the last decade or so, um, the last 7 years have been, oh gosh, I've been on this wellness journey for like about 15 years. And the last decade, oh no, so last, let me say this, 7 to 8 years, I've been an entrepreneur. And I would say about 2 to 3 years of that, I was really, really hustle focused. I was really sales focused. I was really strategy focused and just wanting to make money, money, money. And I'm not gonna let, like, we love the money, honey. Don't get that twisted. We definitely love making money. There's a lot of freedom that comes with having financial abundance, and that exchange is, time freedom as well. So the more money we have, the more time we're able to have to do things that we actually love. And, whether that's spending time with our kids or, taking up a hobby or doing things that we're really passionate about. But that, like, 3 years of hustle, I burnt out so, so, so fast. I swear I was done with being an entrepreneur. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I wake up and I'm thinking about it. I go to bed and I think about it. And I'm not thinking about it in a way that I was like loving it. I was thinking about it in a very stressed, anxious way where I was like, I have, people that I'm responsible for. I have overhead that I'm responsible for. I have to hit these targets, and I was losing sleep over it. I was like completely stressed out, that it all came crumbling down. not just in front of my own eyes, but in front of, my community, my friends, my family, my children, who had to deal with a lot of the sacrifices that I had to make, that impacted them and impacted my finances and impacted a lot of our security and stability, to the fact where I didn't just lose my business, but I lost our home, and I didn't have a secure place for us to stay. And so it caused a lot of disruption. And I thought to myself, I'm done. I'm not going to do this anymore. But, I say, like, once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur. I took a break from it for a while, not a full break, but just like a major step back, where I really wanted to figure out, how do I want to approach this thing? How do I continue doing what I love in a way that allows me to still love it? It took a lot of self-reflecting and a real break from my business. We did that whole thing where we rebranded, we did all this stuff. And I kept saying the word restructuring. And that's because we literally crumbled down to the ground, like not just the physical space, but me emotionally and my confidence, and like I said, just how I saw myself as an entrepreneur, as a person, as a mother. Like, my confidence took a major, major hit. But I did a lot of reflecting, and I still, in the midst of all of it, in the midst of not having a home, in the midst of not having that security and stability for my kids, not having a place to even hang up my clothes. My clothes were, in a storage in my trunk, and like in between friends' houses, and my kids' stuff, they were staying with their dads. But in the midst of all of that, guys, I was still practicing self-care. Like, nobody knew what I was going through, because I was still at the gym. I was still eating well. I was still showing up and, helping people on their wellness journey. Because I knew that for me, self-care is not just a strategy. Like, it is, it's a coping mechanism. It is like a way of life, that was instilled in me from a very young age. My mom was very much a super hard worker, but she was very much also one who took care of herself. And she set a good example for us, work hard, but also take care of yourself. She was also an entrepreneur. But I still practice self-care, and I knew, going back into entrepreneurship, that I wanted to do it differently. And I was thinking back to when I first started my entrepreneurial journey, and what was things like back then. When I first started, I knew nothing. Ignorance was bliss. But I was like so soft with it. Like, I was being myself. I was creating content that resonated with me, and then it resonated with my audience, my clients. I was treating from my home. I didn't need a fancy place, and people were coming to my house and booking treatments with me, booking sessions with me, booking workshops with me, asking me to come and be in newspapers, or speak, or be a part of magazines, or be a part of like different things that were going on. And I was just flowing in it. Nothing was forced. Nothing was there wasn't no hustle behind it. I was really loving myself, and things were just naturally coming to me. And I wanted to get back into that space again. And so, I have decided, and what I've been doing recently, particularly with my 28-day chakra cleanse that I do twice a year. Now we're in the middle of it now. We're close to the end. We're on day 22 of our 28-day cleanse. And I've really, taken this time to do a lot of personal development, and just like reflections, and how do I want to approach entrepreneurship moving forward, and life moving forward. And knowing that like a core pillar of my life is like my self-care practices. I really wanted to lean into that as far as entrepreneurship goes. And this is not something that I've thought of recently. So this is something that um, I've been kind of leaning into for the last little while. Um, I created a course that is called the Holistic Entrepreneurship, and it's where we get to focus on entrepreneurship in a softer way. So you get to be like a soft entrepreneur, which, yes, is kind of like, leaning into your softness, leaning into your femininity. And you can be a man that does this too. We all have masculine and feminine traits. But it is about not forcing anything, not being money driven. That cannot be your goal. Or that cannot be your driving force, because you'll burn out really fast. But leaning into what comes to you naturally, like what are your passions, what are your skills, what are you best what do you do best, or what are you best known for, um, what are things that come effortlessly to you, and then we start to explore those things through reflections, self-assessments, quizzes, dialogue. There's different frameworks that are in this course, and then we take that information and we build upon it. We build a business out of it. And everyone's vision and goals for their business is different, but we do go into things such as like how to communicate appropriately, how to brand yourself appropriately that is aligned with your business and your vision and your mission, identifying what those things are that really align with your personal values. Like, we identify what our values are. That's the most important thing. Identifying what your values are, and then creating a business that aligns with your personal values, so that you can always be on that path of following your passions, so that you don't have to worry about things like burnout or identity crisis or imposter syndrome. Like, these are things that come naturally to you anyway. So how do we build and monetize off of our natural skill sets? And so there's a whole course that I've created that explores all of this stuff, and we go on to like branding and marketing, how to build a team, how to figure out like what is the best business structure for you based on your goals, and then my favorite piece is the time management piece, because you can get so lost in the sauce here, and you can get so overwhelmed and so burnt out very quickly. And unless you're proactive about it at the beginning, and not just at the beginning, unless you have a system where you're constantly reviewing and assessing yourself and assessing where you are, and just making sure that you are aligning with what your values are on a consistent basis, it's wraps. Because people want everything from you. People want your time, they want your expertise, they want your resources, and not only your clients, but other people who see value in what you're doing, and they want, a little bit of information, or, some tips or some advice and mentorship and all this stuff. And people are always pulling from you. But if you don't have a priorities list, and if you don't, structure your time, in a way that is aligned with your values, you are going to get sucked in. And so this time management piece is part of this holistic entrepreneurship piece. And it is really, really important for us as entrepreneurs to make sure that we are setting aside time for ourselves. I'm going to say it again. As entrepreneurs, we have to make sure that we are setting time aside for ourselves, because nobody's going to give it to you. For some reason, people think that entrepreneurs have a crap ton of money and have the best mental health, because people are always coming to you for money, and they're always dumping on you because they just think, you're the strongest and you figured it out, and all this stuff. But that's not the case. And unless you are intentional about filling your own cup first before, giving to everybody else, I promise you're going to burn out, and that's not a place that you want to be, because all the sacrifices that you made and all the people that you love who've also paid the price for your sacrifice are also going to pay the price for your burnout. So not only do you owe it to yourself to make sure that you don't get on this path to burnout, but you owe it to the people that you love. Okay, so this time management piece, everybody's schedule is going to look different, but I do recommend creating a schedule, and it could just be a template. As life adjusts and as life changes, you can always tweak it to whatever you need in the moment. But I always say, like, you can give yourself an hour in the morning, time during the day, whether that's an hour or 2 hours, and then an hour at night. So at the very, very, very least, you're giving yourself 3 hours through the day. And in a 24-hour day, I think that's very reasonable, and that's not even close to anything you should feel guilty about. So in the morning, something that I like to do is wake up. If the kids are here, so disclaimer, I am a single parent. I do co-parent my twins that are 4 years old, so half the time they're with their dad. My oldest, I also co-parent with his dad. I raised him as a single mom, so he's lived with me full time until he was 13 years old, and then he decided to live with his dad full time. So he comes here like holidays, weekends, that kind of stuff, because he lives in a different town. But I'm still like on his school board. I'm still part of his basketball teams and his track teams, and I'm like a very active parent because that's my baby. And I'm not gonna lie, the first year that he was gone, I cried that entire year. Again, all related to that time of like burning out and losing everything. So girls, people, ladies, gentlemen, we did a lot of work to get to where we're at today, to this place of peace. And honestly, peace is like my biggest accomplishment. Peace is my biggest achievement. That is the thing that I define my success by. Like, what is the biggest milestone and what is the biggest point of success for me? It's achieving this level of peace, because I was not okay for a very long time. But pouring into myself, self-care, therapy, a lot of things, and we'll get into that another time. I digress. Let me get back here. So I know what it's like to be a single parent and to not really have time, or feel like you don't have time to pour into yourself, but you can do it. You just have to prioritize it. And the way that you take care of yourself, you're going to set that example to your kids. Because do you want them to see a mom who's constantly burnt out and constantly exhausted and not eating well and not taking care of herself, her hygiene, her self-care, not taking care of her physical health, taking vitamins, exercising? There's so much that we do that our kids watch, and they don't just do what we say, they do what we do. So when we set an example of taking care of ourselves, not only do we become a better parent for our kids, but we then show them how they should also be taking care of themselves and how important that is. So I know what it's like to have a full-time job, to be a full-time entrepreneur, to be a full-time single parent, but in all of that, I still prioritized my self-care. And it's going to look different, it's going to fluctuate, and maybe you can't do it every single day. But if there's a day when you don't do it, or it looks a little different, don't make that a pattern. Wake up the next day, it's a new day, start again. Make sure you're prioritizing yourself. So I wake up in the morning. I try to wake up before the kids if they're with me. And usually they wake up with me, which they usually end up crawling into my bed. So if I try to get up, they're up. But they watch me. They watch me brush my teeth. They watch me do my skincare routine in the morning. They watch me take my vitamins and, make my smoothie or my coffee, whatever I'm having in the morning. They watch me get dressed into a cute gym outfit because I'm always going to go to the gym first thing in the morning. And then I also, make sure that they're dressed. My 4-year-old twins, make sure that they're dressed. If my 14-year-old is home, he's almost 15 now, I make sure that he's up. We have rules in this house as far as like how late we are on electronics, making sure we get enough sleep so that in the morning everybody can wake up. We can start our day at a decent hour. Make sure everybody's good, but I'm also good. And then I'll take the kids to school or whatever they need to do. And then I'm in the gym for an hour and a half. So that's 2.5 hours that I already put into myself before I even looked at anybody else's emails or work tasks or anything like that. So I'm making sure my morning, my sacred morning, is off to a good start. Usually I listen to a little bit of gospel music, or I definitely journal every single morning. I have to dump my thoughts out, create a schedule for my day. If there's any anxieties or anything that I'm working through, I make sure that's all journaled before I leave the house to take anybody outside. So I do that in the morning. If I don't have time in the morning before I leave, once I drop everybody off, I go to the gym parking lot and I make sure that I'm journaling in the parking lot. But yeah, before I, do anything for anybody else as far as work goes, I'm making sure I've done everything for myself. Come home and I usually check my emails, get a sense of like what my day is going to look like as far as, is there things that I need to work on? Is there any outstanding tasks or any timelines or objectives I'm trying to reach, any meetings, whether it's with my therapist or my mentor or my coach, with a client. Is there any outreach I need to do with like community or my day job or anything like that? I kind of create a little bit of a structure or framework for my day. Have a smoothie, post-workout smoothie, which is usually like a protein shake. After that, take another shower. Make sure, I put on something cute because working from home, guys, is is really easy to just be scraggly. And that's the word that I don't know if it's a real word, but scraggly is the word. Like you can just be looking like a scragamuffin, and I've done it. I've let myself go from working from home, where my hair is a mess. I'm just in pajamas. Like I won't shower. I won't put anything cute on, and I'm like, this is showing how much I prioritize myself and how much I care about myself, and this is not a good look. Like I do care about myself, so I have to make sure that I'm putting that time in. And so that's about 4 hours to myself that I'm putting into myself in before noon. Like I would say till about noon. I have my 1 hour in the morning, 2 hours at the gym, about an hour of like checking emails, restructuring. And I might do some of that at the gym too, to be honest. And if anybody that goes to my gym is on here watching this, they will tell you like this girl is on her phone at the gym. And I'm not just scrolling. I'm literally checking emails, checking, things that need to be done. Yeah, so that way when I come home, I have a bit of an idea of like where my day is gonna go. So yeah, shower, have lunch, do a little bit of other work, whatever that looks like, reviews, applications, whatever. I work, 6 hours a day. I would say 6 hours. I don't think we need to do more than 6 hours. I think the 8-hour work day is excessive. Even 6 hours is excessive. I think 4 hours is when you're gonna get the best out of me. Anything more than that, you're not gonna get the best. In that work, in those work hours, I make sure that I pull away from my work desk. So thankfully, my day job is also in the recreation industry. I'm a recreation and physical activity consultant. So a lot of what I do is encouraging movement, which I highly believe in. Um, Sorry, guys, I am sitting too long actually right now. Encouraging encouraging movement. Um, so not only do I preach it to community and to community leaders and to recreation leaders, but I also practice it. So any meeting that I can do, I have a trail right across the street. I'm so blessed. Any meeting that I can do where I don't really have to actively participate on my laptop, I'll get my work phone and put my headphones in. I'm taking that meeting on the trail. If there's any reviews that I have to do that I can do from my work phone, I'm doing that on the trail. Any reading that I have to do, any, um, anything that I can literally do from my phone, I'm doing it on the trail so that I can move. My life has changed a lot. I used to be a full-time registered massage therapist. So, doing that, I was really, I was on my feet all day, getting all kinds of steps, all kinds of steps. I'm burning all kinds of calories because massage therapy is like really physically demanding work. But being a consultant, a lot of times you're just sitting down, even in the recreation, physical activity, wellness industry, like you're sitting down, doing stuff at your computer. And so I've noticed like swelling in my body that's been new. I've noticed uh, like weight gain. I've noticed a bunch of different things. So I had to make sure that I break up the day with some movement. So midday, I will go for about an hour walk, whatever. Make sure I'm getting my goal of 10K steps a day. Um, yeah, and so I do that. Finish my work day, make sure that I have some dinner, and in the evening I might still work, create some content. Right now I'm taking a course. So this course is like a holistic nutrition movement course. So I'm learning a lot about cleansing, about like ancient wisdom and African wisdom related to movement, nutrition, yoga, that kind of stuff. So I'm really, really enjoying that. And how do we apply these like Afrocentric principles into our day-to-day work? And that's with adults, that's with children, with youth, with seniors. And I love that because I'm a very Afrocentric person. I believe that, Africa was the beginning, and everybody comes from Africa. And so how do we use this wisdom to not teach ourselves something new, but to remind ourselves of what we already know on a cellular level, as on an ancestral level. I'll do another video on ancestral wellness. But yeah, I'm taking this course, and so usually the evenings I'll watch those videos, do those modules, and then at night, if the kids are here, we'll do dinner, we'll do our bonding time, and then we'll do bed. And if it's just me, shutting down. 9 o'clock, I start to do my night routine. So it's brushing my teeth, showering, and doing my skincare. So I do some dry brushing at night just to help with my circulation and help keep my skin nice and soft. And then I put my oils on. So these are oils that I make from home. I use a little grapeseed or coconut oil, and I put an essential oil in it. Right now I'm using ylang ylang. So good. Like, it smells delicious. Like, there's a depth to the smell that I love. So I just put it on just before I got in here, right after my shower. But yeah, after a dry brush and you put this oil on yourself, the skin is like butter, like pure butter, so soft and good. So yeah, I'll do that, do my skincare routine, do my face, and my oral care. Make sure I brush and floss twice a day, guys. Please, at 30 some years old, we need to do better, okay? Like, we're adults. Can we please brush our teeth twice a day and floss twice a day, and rinse twice a day? I know. I shouldn't even have to say it, but I do. I have to say it. And I know and I have to say it because I also struggled with it. I had a lot of trauma with the mouth. So I hated the dentist. I hated oral care. And I know there's a lot of trauma related to that. But I avoided it. I'm not going to lie, for a long time. And I would get like cavities. There's a lot of, I had to get like teeth pulled and fillings and all that stuff. And I hated the dentist. I would literally have a panic attack when I went to the dentist. But I had to get over that because my oral hygiene is super important. Nobody wants bad breath. Nobody wants to be kissing bad breath, smelling bad breath. And I got bonding done. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff that I did to show that I care about myself, show that I love myself, that I care about my health. I had to get over some of these fears and work through some of my traumas related to the mouth and to oral care, to the throat. So, yeah, it's a real thing. So, yeah, I mean, I can get into hygiene. We're gonna create so many videos because people who lack hygiene, it is sometimes there's deeper things that are going on there, and we know that symptoms of like depression or anxiety or traumas that can be triggered through things like taking a shower or through brushing your teeth, and sometimes we don't know that. We're just assuming that people have bad hygiene, but there's a lot of trauma related to a simple thing as bathing, right? But yeah, we've done the work. We've gotten over it. So where was I? So yeah, nighttime, do my night routine, and then I do a little bit of scrolling. To be honest, people ask me all the time, what shows do you watch? What movies do you watch? Nothing. I don't even know what's going on. Once in a while, if there's like Love is Blind is on, or there's like a new dating show or something, I do love a good dating show, but a lot of times I'm watching podcasts or like YouTube channels of people that I love. Particularly, I do love Ronnie Brown. I love Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. I love April Mason. And honestly, just watching these three powerful Black women entrepreneurs, that's been a huge part of my healing journey. Just knowing, what they've kind of went through, whether it's like trauma or, single parenting or whatever the case is. Just being a Black woman, being an entrepreneur, seeing how they've made it and hearing their stories really has inspired me to, continue on my journey and also share my journey, because knowing how their stories have helped me makes me really want to have that same impact on others. So, yeah, I'm not really watching shows, not really watching Netflix, not really watching anything, to be honest. If anything, I'm just, scrolling a little bit, catching up on my social media, or I'm watching my podcasts. And then I do my visualizations at night. So as part of prayer, I do my visualizations. So I imagine the person that I want to be. I imagine what she looks like. I imagine the house she has, the car she drives. I imagine physically, like what is her size, what clothes does she wear. I imagine her family, her partner, her income. There's a lot of things that I visualize. This is part of like manifesting that I talk about all the time, being an active manifester and not being a lazy manifester, because God will help you. He will help you, but he doesn't like lazy manifestors. And so if you are someone who is driven and who has a vision and who can see that vision, I truly believe that God will help you get there if you're actively taking steps towards it. So I do envision these things. I envision what the type of person that I want to be would do on a day-to-day basis to not only get these things, but how to achieve these things, how to sustain these things. And then I make a plan. And then I create that schedule for myself, because that person and those goals is not something that's distant for me. I think it's very attainable, and it's something that I can start living right now. I can be the person who has that stuff right now, so that when those things do come, I am ready to sustain them and receive them and keep them and multiply them, because we are multipliers as women. And I will say this holistic entrepreneurship thing, that time management piece again is really, really important. Making sure that you are in your working hours, like those hours that you really pour into your business, you work hard, like absolutely work hard for those 4 or 6 hours that you are working on your business. And I'm not gonna lie, there's been times where it's been 10 hours or 12 hours. If I have a deadline or something and I really need to pour into it in a more intense way, I'll do that. I'll do all nighters. I'll do that stuff. Do I love to do it? No. Do I do it often? Heck no. But there are times that call for it. But in this journey to holistic entrepreneurship, time management is important. Being strategic about your working hours. Don't just be aimlessly going in circles. Make sure that you are working with someone and they're helping you to develop a plan. And if you don't have the funds to work with someone right now, watch the people that you admire. So these could be other entrepreneurs or whatever the case is. Watch them and see if they have any videos, YouTube videos, online videos that you can watch and gain information from to help you build and come up with a bit of a plan until you're into a place or a space where you're ready to financially invest in a coach or a mentor, because those are invaluable. And you can also join our Holistic Entrepreneurship course, which is starting this summer, July and August. We're doing it for 8 weeks, which I highly, highly, highly recommend, because it is a different approach to entrepreneurship. It's not about hustle and grind and working yourself to the bone. It's about aligning your business to your personal values. So defining what your personal values are, creating a business that aligns with that, and then building on that from your skills, from your passions, and then the time management piece. So making sure that you have time for self-care in there. Sorry guys. Ooh, see, this is me just talking. I'm gonna have some water because we do not need that. No. 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 Not my lips. No. Much better. Yeah. So the time management piece, making sure that we are including self-care as part of our work plan, as part of our entrepreneurial work plan, because it's not just important, it's essential. Okay, if we don't want to burn out, if we want to stay aligned with our passions, to stay aligned with our personal values, self-care is essential. It is essential to your success as an entrepreneur. Okay, that's a non-negotiable. So we can come up with some frameworks and some approaches that you can use, some strategies to help you develop a realistic schedule that allows you to grow as a business, but also prioritize your self-care on that journey. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it's great to be driven. It's great to reach goals. It's great to you get a rush from securing a client or securing a project, but particularly as women entrepreneurs, our best ideas come in rest mode. So when I am, on the trail, for example, I come up with my best ideas on those walks when I'm out in nature and, um, I'm moving and my mind is clear and I'm not just sitting in front of a screen. Like, I come up with the best ideas there. Or when I'm on a solo drive, or, we don't have like the greatest weather here, but in the summer, like when I'm at the beach, or even in the morning or at night when I have that hour of my self care routine, best ideas come from that. Best ideas. So self care is not only essential to your success as an entrepreneur to prevent burnout, but that's also where our creativity flows from. It flows from when we are in those restful modes, when we are kind of in those spaces where our mind is clear and we're pouring into ourselves. So it's a key factor. It's like a key pillar to entrepreneurship, particularly as a female entrepreneur. So holistic entrepreneurship, it's ooh, it's really the way forward for me, and I feel so good in this space. um I feel the success, like I feel the fulfillment and the joy, and I feel the peace, and I see the opportunities coming that are more aligned. I see the opportunities that I used to take out of desperation no longer I'm no longer taking them. They're no longer coming my way. And even if they do come my way, I'm in a better place to say, like, no, I'm not able to take that on. Um, I am in this self care space where I'm taking these moments to myself. I'm able to get to know myself better and identify, like, you know, are these things that are coming up, are these ideas or these people or these opportunities, are they aligned with my personal values? Do they align with the things that I said that I wanted for myself and my business? And when you're kind of back to back to back in a go 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 mode, you don't have that opportunity to sit and reflect on the things that are on your plate or the things that are coming up for you. And so yeah, this is the way forward for me. And it feels so 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 good, and I feel super aligned and just really peaceful about it. um so yeah, I think I don't think I know that the things that I want are here for me. I just have to grab them, and in I'm actively grabbing them. Like, I'm actively day to day practicing the things that I need to practice to receive the things that I want. And they're there, they're right here. Like, I don't have to create them, I don't have to chase them. The things are just here. And by me just being, and by just like being in my flow, I'm able to grab onto that. By me knowing what my values are and the type of business I want to create, the type of impact that I want to create. um yeah, it's all just here. It's just all around me. So yeah, July and August, holistic entrepreneurship course. um you will see, I know we're in, where are we, we're in April right now. So May, we are doing the month of May, it's embracing a holistic life. So um, you can join that masterclass if you want. I highly recommend it. So we kind of get more into what it means to be a holistic life, or what it means to live a holistic life. And when I say things like self-care, it's not just skincare, and it's not just, going for massages and going to the spa. It's more around, like, what am I eating? What am I consuming? More than just food, but like around me. What are the resources and the assets that I not only have, but like, what am I building around me? What are the relationships that I have in my life? How am I moving? How's my mental health? How's my spirituality? So there's a lot of things that we focus on when it comes to these five pillars of holistic well-being, which is the mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, and social. Yeah. So those five pillars, how do we build on them to create a more peaceful life, not a balanced life, a peaceful life. So that's what May is going to be about, and then June is going to be about ancestral wellness. So that's going to be about, again, taking the ancient wisdom and those Afrocentric principles, and how do we apply them into our daily routines and into our life. Again, it's not about learning something new, it's about remembering. And so we're going to explore that in June. And then we're going into holistic entrepreneurship. So join our masterclasses for May and June to get to that holistic life piece and that ancestral wellness piece. And then July and August is all about holistic entrepreneurship. So join these masterclasses. Go onto our website. So it's www.sacredlotusholisticwellness.com. You can register there. We also have an Instagram page, which is sacredlotus.holisticwellness. You can follow us on Instagram. You can send me an email. Email is sacredlotus.wellnesspractice@gmail.com. I'll make sure that I tag all this information in the description box. But I do hope that we see you there, and I hope that you got something out of this video. And if you did, please share it. Let me know what you thought, and we'll be chatting soon. Take care. Bye.